Hello dear students, welcome to my class. Today I shall discuss chapter number 11. The name of the chapter is the preposition, which is written on the board, which you can see. So today I shall discuss this chapter. So the question is, what is preposition? When I was discussing parts of speech, at that time I told you what preposition is. Now once again let me define what preposition is. Preposition A preposition is a word used before a noun or pronoun to show its relation to some other words. So I am repeating it again. A preposition is a word used before a noun or pronoun to show its relation to some other words. Now let me explain this with the help of an example. He joined the school in 2013. So here in is the preposition. This very in, that is which is preposition here, is creating the relation of 2013 with this part of the sentence. This is creating a relation of 2013 with this part of the sentence. And our definition says that a preposition is a word used before a noun or pronoun to show its relation to some other words. So here it is showing relation of 2013 with this part of the sentence. Now the question is, what we are to do with this preposition. We are to know which preposition should be placed. We are to know which preposition should be placed in which place. So I'll start the discussion with preposition of time. In your syllabus, preposition of time is there, preposition of place is there, and preposition of movement and direction is there. So I shall start the discussion with preposition of time. So what is preposition of time? Preposition of time helps to understand specific time period. Preposition of time helps us to understand specific time period. So let me discuss preposition of time with the help of a triangle. If I discuss with the help of a triangle, then it will be very easy for you to understand. So this is our triangle. If I discuss with this, then it will be very easy for you to understand. At, on, in, I, and in. So why I am discussing with the help of a triangle, because it will be very easy for you to understand and it will remain in your mind for a very long time. So please concentrate and try to understand the concept. So we use in, first of all let me discuss in. We use in for the biggest time period. For the biggest time period we use in. To indicate biggest time period, or you can say largest time period, we use in. We use in. For example, month. Month is not a small time period. It is of 30 days, sometimes 31 days. So it is not a, that means it is a not a small time period. With decade, century. So with the biggest time period, what we do to indicate biggest, or we can say largest time period, what we have to do? We have to write, or we have to write in. We have to use the preposition in. Let me discuss this with the help of example. He joined AL-HIRA century, C-E-N century. He joined AL-HIRA in March. So as I said you earlier, we have to use in to indicate largest time period like month, decade, century, year also. Year also you can use. That means he was born. Another example, if I write he was born in 2008. He was born in 2008. So to indicate largest or biggest time period, what we have to use, which preposition we have to use? We have to use in. Always remember that. Now the next one is at. Sorry, on. So on is used with the days of the week. On is used for a single day or days of the week, or days of the week like Friday, Sunday, Monday. We have to use what? We have to use on. Always remember this. In we have to use if we want to indicate year, month, century, decade, and with on what we have to use? That means to indicate days of the week or a single day, what we have to use? We have to use on. Always remember this. For example, he, Ram, or he came to my room, RWM room. He came to my room on Friday. On Friday, Friday. He came to my room on Friday. He came to my room on Friday. Or we can say Gandhi Jayanti is celebrated on 2nd October. On 2nd October. Oh, remember this. Days of the week or a single day, what we have to use on? We have to use on. Now the next one is at. Next one is at. As I said to you earlier, that means largest, that means in triangle, why I decided to explain you with the help of triangle so that it will remain in your mind for a long time. For largest time period in, for days of the week or single day on, and at where we have to use exact time, or we can say for that means smallest time period, we can say to indicate smallest time period, what we have to use at, or we can say to indicate a point of time, we have to use what? We have to use preposition at. For example, he came at 3 o'clock. C-L-O-C-K. He came at 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock is a very small time period. Is a very small time period. For exact time period, or you can say point of time, to indicate point of time, or to indicate smallest time period, what we have to use? We have to use the preposition. We have to use preposition at. We have to use preposition at. Another example, let me write. Our school starts, S-T-A-R-T-S, starts at 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock. Hope you have understood where to use on, where to use at, where to use in. Now, before, after, A-F-T-E-R. These are also preposition. These are also preposition of time. Before and after, these are preposition of time. So when we are to use before and after? Before we are to use to indicate earlier than the given time. To indicate earlier than the given time. For example, I shall reach Badarpur before 4 o'clock. Before 4 or you can say 5 o'clock. C-L-O-C-K. So where we have to use before? We have to use before to indicate earlier than the given time, to indicate time earlier than the given time. So given time is 5 o'clock. To indicate earlier, what we have to write? We have to write, we have to use preposition before. Now where to use after? Where to use after? To indicate time period later than the given time. This is before than the given time, and after is later than the given time. Later is given, that means after is, we have to use after to indicate a time period later than the given time. For example, I will go to, or you can say I shall go to hostel after lunch. L-U-L-C-H. I shall go to hostel after lunch. I shall go to hostel after lunch. That means I shall reach hostel after lunch only, not before. If we want to, that means indicate time earlier than the given time, then we have to what? Write before. We have to use before. If we want to indicate time, that means after than the given time or later than the given time, then what we have to use? We have to use after. Always remember that. Always remember the point which I have said to you. Now, hope you have understood preposition of time. Now, preposition of place. Preposition of place. PLA, preposition of place. Again, let me discuss this with the help of a diagram. For example, diagram. For example, one ball is there. So with the help of diagram, I am trying to explain you. So now I am going to discuss preposition of place. Preposition of place. First one is on. First one is on. Where to use on? If the object touches the surface, if the object touches the surface, then we have to use on. We have to use on. Here you can see, here one ball is there, imaginary ball. So it is touching the surface. So whenever an object touches surface, what we have to use? We have to use on. For example, the ball is on the box. The ball is on the box. Or you can say, for example, another example, let me explain. The pen is, or the marker is on the palm. It is touching the surface. It is touching the surface of my inner hand. Surface of my inner hand. Or you can say surface of palm. In we have to use if the object is inside. If the object is inside, then what we have to use? To indicate the object. If the object is inside, so to indicate it, we have to use in. We have to use in. For example, the ball is in the box. To indicate something inside, what we have to write? In. We have to write in. Now, if the ball is not touching the surface, if the ball is not, if it is touching, then we have to use on. And if it is not touching the surface, there is gap between the box and the ball, then what we have to write? We have to write over. We have to write over. Remember this. We have to write over. If touching surface, then on. Otherwise, we have to write what? Over. The ball is over the box. The ball is over the box. And if the ball is near the box, if the ball is near the box, not over the box or inside the box or touching the surface of the box, if it is beside the box, then what we have to write? What we have to use? We have to use preposition near. We have to use preposition near. N-E-A-R. The ball is near the box. The ball is near the box. The ball is near the box. The cat is near the table. The cat is near the bed, we can say. Now hope you have understood preposition of place. Now the next one is preposition of movement and direction. Preposition of movement and direction. Hope you have understood preposition of place and preposition of time, preposition of place. Now preposition of movement and direction. D-I-R-E-C-T-I-O-N. Direction. Preposition of movement and direction. Towards. T-O-W-A-R-D-S. So when we are to use preposition to, when we are to use what? Preposition to. And when we are to use preposition towards. So that means already I have discussed preposition of movement and preposition of direction. Preposition of movement and preposition of direction, that means preposition of time and preposition of place already I have discussed. Now I am discussing preposition of movement and direction, and the first one is to indicate sense of destination. To indicate sense of destination, what we are to use? We are to use the preposition to. For example, he went to school. He went to school. S-C-H-O-O-L, school. So to indicate, that means to indicate sense of destination, what we have to use? We have to use to. The example is he went to school. That means he reached, that means the boy reached school. Now towards. It indicates a sense of direction. It indicates a sense of direction. To indicates a sense of destination, and towards indicates a sense of direction. For example, we went towards the school. The example is we went towards the school. That means we are going in the direction of the school. That means we are going in the direction of the school. So remember this. To indicate direction, we have to use what? Towards. Now the next one is into. Next one is into. Into. For example, a river is there. A river is there. And one boy is there. One boy or a man or one is standing there. Is standing there. So if he jumps into the river, that means if there is a movement from outside to inside, if there is movement from outside to inside, then what we have to use? We have to use the preposition into. We have to use the preposition into if there is movement from outside to inside. If the boy jumps into the river, then what we have to use? That means there is movement from outside. There is movement from outside to inside. Then what we have to write? We have to use inside. We have to use the preposition inside. For example, the boy jumped. J-U-M-P-E-D. The boy jumped into the river. The boy jumped into the river. R-I-V-E-R. If there is movement from outside to inside, then we have to use the preposition into. The example is given. I have already written the example on the board. The boy jumped into the river. Now Another preposition of movement and direction is at. So when we are to use at, when we are to use the preposition at, if there is idea of hitting, if someone is throwing a stone at somebody, something, then we are to use what? Or throwing anything maybe at something, then we are to use at. If there is idea of hitting, then we are to use what? At. Always remember this. The boy is throwing. The boy is throwing, THROWING, throwing stones, 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 or throwing stone, is throwing stone at the dog, DOG. So if there is idea of hitting, then what we are to, which preposition we are to use? We are to use the preposition at. Remember this. Now the next preposition is let me explain this with the help of example. I go to school, dash foot. So this is that means this preposition is very common. If you go in class 9, 10, you will get this question. You will get this question. Or to test or to check your knowledge, grammar knowledge, anybody can ask. It is very easy, but most people make mistakes. Those who don't know them, they commit mistakes. So remember that I go to school, it will be always on foot. I go to school on foot. I go to school on foot. And if we travel by bus, train, if we travel, then what we have to use? For example, I travel by bus, train. So travel, if we that means we have to use what? By. We have to use I travel by bus, I travel by, or I traveled by train. You can use like this. Then another preposition, I got on the train. I got in the car. So if big vehicle is there, then what we have to use? We have to use on. Remember this. We have to use on. I got on the train, I got on the truck. If big vehicle is there, then what we have to use? We have to use on. Any small vehicles like car, if you see, then which preposition you have to use? You have to use in. Always remember this. You have to use what? In. For small vehicle, what you have to use? You have to use in. And for big vehicle, what you have to use? You have to use on. I hope you have understood. Another preposition of movement and place is of, or OFF, of. It is very common preposition. So when you are to use preposition of or OFF, of, if you see separation, then what we have to use? You have to use of. For example, he fell off the horse. He fell off the OFF. He fell off the horse. That means earlier he was sitting on the back of the horse. Now on the top of the horse. Now there is a separation because he fell. the boy, maybe boy or man maybe. So there he fell off the horse. So there is a separation. There is a separation. Since he is not sitting now, since he is now not sitting on the top of the horse, so there is a separation. So what we have to use? Which preposition we have to use? We have to use the preposition of or WF of if separation is there. Hope you have understood the preposition which I have discussed. I hope whatever preposition I have discussed, this is enough for you. If you find any problem while going through the video, please call me at night. And if you don't understand, please repeat the video. See again and again. If you don't understand, I am there for you. You can call me at night. This is the end of discussion.